If you're thinking about moving to Portsmouth, Virginia, then this is the video for you, because today at Open House, Charles and Mickey talk about everything that there is to know about living in Portsmouth. And of course, if you like this video, take a look at our channel, because every single day we're helping folks from out of state learn about what it's like to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so that they know exactly where to move and who to call when they want to make a smooth move to the DMV. So take a look at our contact details in the description below, and let's get into the conversation between Charles and Mickey.
Hello, my name is Charles with Open House Media, and if you're ready to do a deep dive into what it's like to live in Portsmouth, Virginia, then you found the right video, because I have Mickey Collins with me, and she's a licensed real estate agent who specializes in helping people get familiar with and move to the area. So if you're considering moving to Portsmouth, Virginia, then you're in the right place. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So Mickey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you love Portsmouth so much?
Well, I was born and raised in Portsmouth, born at the Naval Hospital, which is a big regional hospital for us here, and lived here all my life but 2 years. And I am very, very big on Portsmouth as a city and as a home place. We're very diverse. When I talk about Portsmouth, it also kind of pulls in from some of the other cities in Greater Hampton Roads, as we're known. And those cities could be Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Hampton, or Newport News, because I picture us as a wheel with spokes going out. Portsmouth is a very old city because the country started here. We have two historical churches that date from 1700s, and we have the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, who is our biggest employer, but also was established here when taken over by the government in 1801. So we have a long, proud history here.
So what's the culture like there? Is it a suburban, rural, small town kind of feel? How is it there?
I call us a city with a small town feel. We are mostly suburban. We don't really deal with mass transit here. Most people, as they're commuting, and of course this is prior COVID, everybody drove to work and drove their own car. Of course, we still have people here now who are working from home. The schools have reopened, so the children do get on that little yellow bus and go to school. We have people from all walks of life and from all over the world. I mean, we are very diverse.
Gotcha. So can you tell me a little bit about the history of Portsmouth?
Portsmouth was founded in 1752 by Colonel William Crawford, who had a member of the House of Burgesses, which was the seat of government in Williamsburg. And Williamsburg's only a little over an hour away from us. So he was granted this land and established Portsmouth, and he named it for our sister city of Portsmouth, England. And as I said, our biggest employer here is the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. And it was started off as a small privately owned shipyard called Gosport. And then in 1801, the government bought it. And to me, one of the most interesting facts is that the ironclad battleship Merrimack was built there. And that's the Merrimack of the famous Battle of the Civil War of the Monitor and the Merrimack. So that was fought right here in Hampton Roads Harbor. So you can see we have a long history and quite a bit to be proud of, I think.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like it's got a really deep and rich history that people could could get themselves involved in and learning about. So when it comes to the economics, where is it that people tend to work there? Are they commuting? Are they staying local? How is that going these days?
Well, they're commuting for the most part. Like I say, the people that work at Norfolk Naval Shipyard, some of them, I would say a great majority of them live in Portsmouth, some live in Norfolk, some live at the beach or in Chesapeake, once again, all surrounding cities. A lot of people work at Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock. They commute. That's where they build our aircraft carriers. We are all very much intertwined in this area based on the military, which keeps our economy quite strong. Be it whether you're in the military or you're working for the shipyards or you're working for a consulting firm, it's all intertwined, and I call it a trickle-down effect because then it trickles down to the grocery stores, the retail stores, the restaurants, everything. And our city council works very hard trying to draw in new industry. And we are very excited about the fact that we have a new casino opening here in Portsmouth in 2023. It'll be the first casino in the area.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that should be really good for the economy as well. How long would you say it takes to commute to the shipyards from Portsmouth?
Well, if you're going to Norfolk Naval Shipyard, which is located in Portsmouth, and you live in Portsmouth, it just depends on where you live. But I would say half an hour or less. If you're working at NOB, which is the big naval base in Norfolk, then it's not a matter of miles, it's a matter of time. If you time it right, you can get there. You can get there within 30 minutes. If traffic's bad or there's been an accident, obviously it will take longer. To Newport News, half an hour. You know, okay. Everything is very convenient. I feel like I'm very centrally located. My office is in Virginia Beach, but I live in Portsmouth. I actually live in a post-World War II bungalow that my parents bought in 1952.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
That's great. So you're a true local. You know the area very well.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, that's perfect. That's exactly why we're talking to you. So can you tell us a little bit about the schools, how they rank? You know, again, we can't talk about, you know, your favorites or anything like that, but let's just talk about the schools for a little bit.
Well, we have all types of schools. Of course, the public schools are there, and everything from pre-kindergarten all the way up through graduation. We have two high schools. One is IC Norcom, and the other is Churchland High School. If you have children who are in athletics, all the schools offer very good athletic programs. Their education programs are everything to meet standards and above. And there is also programs for gifted children. There's programs for children with special needs. They cover the gamut and try very, very hard to meet the needs and wants of all the children.
Gotcha.
I'm blessed enough to have had friends who've worked in the school system. Of course, by now they've retired, but all very good. Very good remarks.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Just mentioned, we also have Tidewater Community College. We have technical schools. We are just across the river from Old Dominion University, and Regent University is right up the road also. So we are a hub for the education world too.
Very good. So as far as entertainment goes, you know, all the fun stuff, what kind of things are there to do nearby? Restaurants, bars, breweries, shopping? Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, we do have what we call the downtown area, and downtown is right at the seawall. If you can do everything from watching one of the big aircraft carriers coming down the river when they're going into dry dock at the shipyard. We have a variety of restaurants. If you want German food, there's the beer garden. If you just want to stop in and get a beer, you go to some place like Gosport Tavern. We have craft breweries. We have wineries. We have sports bars, bistros. We have some little specialty shops downtown. And then they have open plaza area where you can just take a nice walk and sit. You take your pets with you, walk down the seawall. On Thursday nights downtown, they have bands come in, different bands, and play, and that's free and open to the public. In June, we share with Norfolk the Harbor Fest, and that is where they bring all the tall ships in, and we have the parade of boats, and there's art there, and they bring in big bands, and it's just a fun time for everybody.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time for sure. I love the live music personally, and seeing all that. I'm sure there's plenty of things for the kids to do around there too. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Well, we have 2 big-sized city parks open to all, and they have special playgrounds, you know, for the children and for picnicking and things like that. We have the Children's Museum downtown, which is an interactive museum and the kids just seem to love it. And at Christmas time, they have a special display of animated characters and with Santa and all that. So the kids just absolutely adore it. And we are a ferry ride across the river from Norfolk, and that's where you have Nautilus, which is a big museum that the kids can go to, and it also is interactive, and it's right next to the, oh my goodness, I forgot the name, the warship that we have docked in downtown Norfolk that they do tours of. There's the Chrysler Museum over there. I mean, we are just in such a great place that if it's not right here in Portsmouth, you can get to it within 30 minutes.
Is there plenty of sports and things for the kids to do there?
There are. We have, like most places, we have organized sports through the different communities, be it Pop Warner football, T-ball, Little League baseball. We have a sports complex over in Portsmouth. There's organized soccer games, and then of course the sports that the schools provide. And we have very good sport facility. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to mispronounce his name, I don't mean to, LaShawn Merritt was from Portsmouth, and he holds an Olympic gold medal in track and field. So
nice.
We're very proud of that. And we have quite a few famous people from Portsmouth, actually. Wanda Sykes, the comedian, who played Granny in all the Ice Age movies. Missy Elliott, the Grammy Award winner. Ruth Brown, who was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Perry Ellis, the clothes designer. All of those folks were from Portsmouth.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Lots of famous people have cut their teeth in Portsmouth, it looks like.
Yeah,
that's great.
Lots of talent.
So let's talk about housing for a minute. What's the what are the homes like there? What's the predominant style of house, would you say?
Okay. Well, being an older city as we are, downtown, you're going, which we call Old Town, you're going to find some of the homes that, upwards of 100 years old. And you're going to see the brick sidewalks, and that were normal for that time and development. As you move out to the suburbs, then you're going to find little post-World War II bungalows And once again, that was from the soldiers coming home from the war. And they just wanted something a little better than they had growing up through the Depression. So 3-bedroom, one bath, 1,000 square feet. That was pretty typical for that time. Then we went into the 60s and houses got a little bigger, mostly brick ranches, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. And if you're really lucky, you got a single car garage too. And then, of course, from the 70s on, things really took off. Now, because we are an older city, what we're seeing is a lot of rehab, where the investors are coming in, they're either doing some tear downs if the houses are just too bad, and rebuilding and revitalizing neighborhoods, or they're just rehabbing, bringing them up to date, you know, maybe adding a half bath here or a garage there. But when it comes to housing in Portsmouth, our pricing is much more reasonable than, say, Virginia Beach.
Okay. So what's the median house price looking like in Portsmouth?
The median price range in Portsmouth is $242,000, and that gets you 3 bedrooms and at least 1.5 baths.
Wow, that's very reasonable.
Very reasonable. And for about $350,000, you would get 3 to 4 bedrooms, at least 2 baths, and a garage.
Okay.
Our lot sizes are typically a little bit larger than you might get in some of the other cities that are more high density. And that's great for the kids to run around and play if you can get them off their computer games long enough.
I know that's getting so difficult to do these days. I have a 7-year-old, and I have to pry him off of that thing and say, all right, it's time to go outside. Let's go do something, you know, anything but games, right?
Right.
So,
there are neighborhoods in Portsmouth where people have lived there all their lives. Like I say, I happen to live in the house my parents bought in 1952 and have updated it. I have a neighbor who lived across the street from me. She just passed away last month, but I've known her since I was 6 years old. And, you know, it's those kind of neighborhoods where you have the old guard who's sitting there and they're going to look out for everybody, but we welcome the new people in.
That's great. It sounds like you have some really good deep roots there, and that's wonderful to have that, because it's
a great place to raise a child.
Yeah,
you know,
it sounds like it.
It is.
Sure.
We have a great deal to offer. I think we are family oriented. We are mostly single family homes, but we do have townhomes and condominiums. We're starting to see some 55 and up communities come in, and we only have one gated community, and that has a 55 and up area, and then it has the McMansions. So a little something for every price range.
Yeah, it looks like a great place to retire as well, correct?
Well, it is, especially for the military. We have the Naval Regional Hospital here. We have one of the best heart hospitals on the East Coast, right across the river in Norfolk at Centera. We have the commissaries here, which works really well for the military. They earned it. They deserve to get something of a break for what they did for our country. So it is a great place for retirement. Once again, you're centrally located. I've had people move from New York to Florida and end up moving here because they say the drive is much better from here to New York or Jersey. And our weather is very temperate. We might get a few really, really cold days in the winter, but very, very little snow. People don't even put their cars in the garage here in the wintertime. They use their garage for extra storage. So it's just great.
I'm sure plenty of people will be happy to hear that. That sounds like a wonderful place to live. And
I think
Mickey,
so.
I really do appreciate you answering these very important questions that are valuable to people considering moving to the area. It's a really big help. And if you're considering moving to the area, please look at the contact details below the video and ask for Mickey Collins by name. And she would be glad to help you find that perfect home in Portsmouth, Virginia. It's not Portsmouth, it's Portsmouth. That's what the locals call it.
Thank you.